Have you guys ever wondered how farmers, gardeners always get these perfect rows, no matter what they're planting, whether it be greens or beans or peas or corn? Well, I'm going to show you something that I developed. I didn't create it, but I developed it as an easy, simple method to get these perfect rows like you would get out of these seed trays. Right? We all know those seed trays, they're wonderful. But here's the problem. With those seed trays, you get a nice root-bound plant, and then you're sitting there fighting it. You're waiting for it to either be too dry or not wet enough, and you end up damaging the roots. Well, for my fall crops, I actually am using a direct sow method, very similar to how I did with this planter right here. This was all direct sown, but it's using a jig that I created, and I have multiple jigs. Let me show you. So right here, I have a simple wood pallet with a handle on it. As you see, it is 2 by 12 by 3, meaning that I have a place to now push down into my soil and plant the bulb or the seed or whatever it may be. Now these are simple 1/2 inch like wooden dowels, and I just mounted a handle on top. But I'm getting ready to plant some of my radishes, some of my lettuces, leafy greens, collards, some broccoli, and I'm going to show you how I create my jig. So what I have here is just a simple piece of wood off of a pallet. I've taken that and cut it into 2 12-inch sections, and then I've mounted them together. Now out of this one piece, this whole 12 inches, I'm going to get approximately 36 individual seed holes, right? So all I'm going to do is take a simple power drill. I'm going to go ahead and drill these holes, and then I'm going to drill it. If you can see there, I have 2 pieces that are mounted together, right? So these 2 pieces I'm going to drill all the way through. I'm going to drill a hole, and I'm going to show you exactly what we do next. Lesson learned. Don't let your battery die. All right, so I have all of these. Holes drilled. Right, now remember we're using 2 boards. And what I'm gonna want to do next is I'm going to use these masonry nails, and the reason being is that the shaft of them, if you can see, is a lot thicker. So what's going to happen is I'll take this top board, I'll go ahead and nail all of these in. They're going to stick and protrude down through the bottom board, giving about a 1/2 inch to dig directly into the soil. But after I nail these in, these holes on the bottom board are not going to be big enough for it to, slide through easily and press down. They're going to be nice and tight in the top board. So when I push through, it'll come through the bottom board, but it'll be loose enough. So I'm going to take a larger bit on this bottom board, drill a little bit larger hole so that this shaft of the nail slides through it easily. So when I press down, that'll be it. So I'm gonna go ahead and nail all of these in, then I'm gonna drill out the larger hole on the bottom board. All right, so I got all of these nailed in. You see the two different boards there, right? And all I'm gonna do is just peel them apart. So I got those peeled apart. And then this bottom layer, the bottom board, we're gonna use a larger hole so that when I press these nails in, right, there's gonna have plenty of room for them to wiggle around. So if you notice here at the very top, I put a hole in there, but I didn't put it in line. And the reason being, if you look at the top of the nails here, that indent automatically lets me know that that's how it's gonna fit in there, right? And I did that on purpose. So we'll go ahead and cut these bigger holes and see what we end up with. All right, so we are all finished. As you see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 rows by 3 that I'll actually be able to take this, press it into the soil. I'll be able to lift this up, right? Lift the nail side up, and then I'll have all of these planting holes that'll be laying flat on the soil surface. I can go ahead and drop them in one by one and go row by row by row. 17 by 3 in about 18 inches by about 3.5 inches. I'm getting three rows of 17. So let's go over to the garden and let's go ahead and plant. All right, so back at the garden, we have this new handmade, let me say, seed planter. And I have two specific areas. There's actually there's actually 6 collard greens right here. So I have an area in between this row here, which is actually ideal for this planter, right? Excuse me, for this seed tray. And I'm just gonna take it, simply pat it down. This is my first time actually using this one. And then all I'm gonna do is separate the 2 trays. Pull this top one up and then keep that bottom one in place. So now I have my nail tray up, and then I have my seed holes, I guess you would call it. And in this area, I'm actually going to plant one of my little favorites, which is the icicle style radish. It's a short top radish, 27 days to germination. Today is the 21st of August. It is actually beautiful outside today. And I'm just gonna take my little seeds and just one by one, drop them in the hole. Normally, if I were doing seed start tray, I would do 2, but because I'm doing a direct sow, I'm just going to do 1 because I just want to check the level of germination by doing it this way. And now this bed that we're in is the bed that I just recently did a video. I planted these collards here in front of me, and then behind you, so in front of me, is where we're going to do garlic this year. Mainly because above my head is the tree line that kind of offers too much shade for the summer. But as the leaves fall in the next 2 months, there's going to be a fair amount of sunlight. It's a southern sun, so the south is to my left, to your right. And it's going to get enough sunlight for garlic, I'm sure. And by being partially shaded in the spring, it's going to help that garlic not to take off too fast. Because, you know, in Zone 7 here in Washington, D.C., we usually pick our garlic late June. So that's going to give us ample amount of time here to allow that garlic to grow in this bed. But as you see here, I have 3 rows of 17. I have 6 more to go. And yes, it's time consuming, but no more time consuming than sitting at home and trying to individually sow these seeds into a seed tray. So that's all I have there. And I actually got this method. If you're on YouTube, do a search for Jim Kolovinsky. He's a market gardener. He works part-time. Well, I guess half the season he's in Florida during the winter. So it's warm enough in the winter in Florida to still grow his market garden. And then in the late spring, he heads up north to Maine and then gardens in Maine. But he actually did this same type of seed tray using, I don't know if you go into like a mechanic shop and you see those peg boards. I'll flash a picture of it on the screen. He actually uses a peg board, and I saw what he did is he took the peg board, did the same thing with the nail method, and then he just nailed through the pegboard, so he didn't have to go through the method of cutting all those holes the way I did. It's kind of, I had scrap wood to do it, kind of made sense for me, so that's what I ended up doing. So now I have all these seeds in, and if you notice, I just took the nails, put them back through there, and just lightly poked them into the soil so I don't have fear when I lift up whether that's going to damage anything. And I'm going to show you. Let me grab the camera. If you can see there in the soil, let's see if I can get a little closer. You see how it actually did the individual holes? Like right there in the light, you can see it. You see that 3 wide, 17 long? It actually did all of those holes. So I'm actually really liking this method. So I am simply going to just tamper down the soil that was down there, and then just lightly brush it back over top. Now this soil is pretty moist. It has, I don't know, I probably watered 2 days ago. I know I didn't water yesterday. The day before definitely watered. Soil's still moist. It's been very cool here in the Northeast region, or the eastern region of the United States. But, so now I have radishes right here. Then I'm going to go right here between the next 2. If you can see that, I have 2 more rows right here. I'm going to do the same thing, kind of flatten out the soil. Grab my seed planting mechanism I created here. Thank you, Jim. Awesome idea. It's a time saver, to say the least. I have this on back. Oh, I had it on backwards, sorry. But yeah, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and plant the next row of seeds in using the same method here. And, you know, we'll take it from there. But I did want to show you guys one thing. Let's jump up and look here in the garden. Haven't messed with it yet. But as you saw recently, we had a lot of good squash. And a lot of the squash back here, this whole bed of green peppers, squash, and we had the beans that the groundhog was devouring. I'm going to plant this right here, probably with using that same seed, direct seed method. I'm going to put a fresh layer of topsoil compost on here. And because of this cool shaded back of the garden, I think I'm going to do probably my kale and broccoli back here. It just seems to be the right place for it. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I mean, we have all this garden space out here, as you guys have seen over the videos for the last few months since we've been out here in the community garden. But yeah, if, you know, That little seed tray, I'll tell you, that little seed tray, excuse me, seed starting tray, it's a DIY type of thing. I had a spare piece of wood off of a pallet, cut it in half at 18 inches, drilled some holes as you saw, put the nails in it, and now I'm actually able to create what I hope to create, let's say, beautiful looking rows without having to take this long ruler or stringing up from post to post to get nice straight rows. This thing is going to be perfect, I tell you, for a patio garden. If you have planters on your balcony, or if you have a small patio on your deck, this thing is going to be perfect. You're going to be creating beautiful rows with, I think I spent $9 on nails, which is, yeah, kind of expensive, I thought, but, you know, everything's expensive. Scrap wood. I already had my power drill, and I already had the drill bit. And it probably took me about an hour, I'll be honest. Probably took about an hour for me to do it. But hey, easy, simple DIY, seed starting direct into the soil. So guys, hope to see you soon. Don't forget, if this is helpful in any way, shape, or form, please comment down below. Hit that subscribe button if you want to learn every time I post new videos. And in addition to that, it can't hurt to comment down below. I love to hear from people. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know some methods that you're using. Until next time, I'll see you guys on the next video.